This is The Way You Lead, a show for the new era of leaders who are ready to rise. I'm Joshua Church, and every week we explore how to lead from the inside out with strength, heart, and authenticity. Through stories, strategies, and conversations with embodied leaders, you'll gain what you need to lead yourself and others in today's changing world. The way you lead matters, and now is the time to step up. All right. Hello. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Way You Lead podcast. I am excited today to share with you a little bit about my journey up on Mount Shasta. So a lot of my friends, and if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen that I just got back from Mount Shasta. I was up there for 4 days, unplugged, doing a bit of a meditation retreat, if you will. The Shasta Summit Ascension, as we called it. So this is the third time I've done this in the last decade, and it is led by an amazing human, one of my favorite humans, Joe Caldera, who started Trilogy Sanctuary, which is a yoga studio and organic vegan cafe in La Jolla in San Diego, and it's a really special spot. And I connected with Joe about a decade ago, and he has been one of my mentors in this lifetime and in this spiritual space, maybe in another lifetime too, but he is he's someone who is has his psychic gifts open up. He's an incredible intuitive and really connected man. And one of the things I love so much about Joe and the way that he leads, which I'm definitely gonna have him on the podcast at some point soon here, is he is so grounded. He runs a business, is super spiritual, and has these gifts that he shares with others. And he also has a family. He's got an amazing wife, 2 wonderful kids, and he is super embodied and grounded. And it's rare to find someone who can be such a spiritual mentor, and someone who is so out there in the best ways and also so grounded. And so Joe definitely is that for me. And years ago, I went on this. He invited me to Shasta. He has a long story that I will let him share when I get him on the podcast soon, of how he went to Shasta in the first place. But he connected with a few members and a shaman of the White Eagle clan from the Shasta Nation, the indigenous tribes up there. A absolute character named Thunder Eater and Garth Skywalker, both of whom I saw again this week, which was a treat. And they've been performing healings and medicine circles and just a range of sweat lodges and different healing ceremonies up on the mountain for thousands of years. And Joe connected him with them. They welcomed him in, and every year since then, for the past 11 years, he's been going up to Mount Shasta and bringing a select handful of people up with him as well, to just be in the energy of the mountain. Mount Shasta is such a powerful energy vortex, and I mean, you can't not feel it when you're up there. It's just this powerful place, and the nature is unbelievable. It's really incredible. And so Joe goes up every year and with a group, and sets up camp, and we spend time up there just simply being, just slowing down, meditating for a good part of throughout the day at multiple points, just sitting around the campfire, sitting around camp, and just being with each other, and just being in presence, being in laughter, being in presence of spirit, being in presence of God, and following the breadcrumbs that are up there, and hiking and eating good food. So I wanted to share today a little bit of that context and 10 of the most powerful takeaways that I am now working on integrating from Mount Shasta. Now, number one, just to get right into it, number one is heaven is here. Heaven is real, and heaven is here. There are no ordinary moments. It's one of my favorite lines from The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. The whole thesis of the book is there are no ordinary moments. And when you bring your attention and your focus and your presence to this very moment, to the now, and you focus your energy on that, everything is okay. Everything is perfect in this moment. And that is an energetic practice and transmutation of feeling into that, because the miracle is unfolding now when we can slow down into it. So that was a lot of the meditation that we practiced, was just that hyper focal point on the miracle of the now unfolding and becoming the witness to what's unfolding right now as we speak. And it's very easy when you're in a group of people who are also on that wavelength, and you're also looking at a beautiful view of a mountain or a river or a stream, and it feels so good to sit in that. And so that's a big practice, and that is a practice I'm working on taking back, is that heaven is here, and that we can create that all together by being on the same wavelength and by creating that space for feeling love in our hearts. And number two, there's so much magic and healing in simply being. And like I mentioned earlier, this was a big thing that we did. Like, it was just simply being. Like, I spent a lot of time chopping wood. Garth actually gave me I received my tribal name, which is Diamond Cutter, because I was chopping wood to prepare the wood for the sweat lodge that we did, and for the campfire. I found my lane. Everybody kind of found their own lane supporting camp in one way or another, and I found my lane chopping wood and also like building the fire and maintaining the fire. And chopping wood, carrying water, laughing around the fire for hours, like all these things that are simple, and staring out in the view to a view in silence, and reconnecting with that rhythm of nature, that what we're really designed for. We're designed for that rhythm. And there's so much magic and so much healing and just being. So that's a big practice I'm working to bring back into the micro moments, and to not being on my phone or reaching for my phone every second to bring in stimulus, but like just simply be. Number 3, more giggles, more silliness, more play. One of the things I love so much about Joe and the whole group there, as everybody brings this energy to the group, is we laughed so hard for so long collectively throughout the entire week. And I realized that when we went down into town one day to grab a smoothie from a smoothie shop, as we were taking a dip in the river and in the lake down by Shasta, and like we came in, this group of 11 of us, like just like buzzing and laughing, and like I went to the bathroom and then I came back, and there were some other people that were there that were not part of our group, and I came back and it was just so clear. It was like we were just this group of humans just like laughing and giggling like so loud, to the point where it was probably disruptive. And that is so good, of just being able to laugh and to giggle, and to be on that frequency and that vibration of laughter and play and giggling is just so pure. And as Joe calls it, because I asked Joe about it, I was just like, I love so much that spiritual doesn't necessarily need to mean serious all the time. Like, of course there's a time and space for it, but it doesn't need to mean serious all the time. And in fact, the real spiritual practice is in being that like baby Buddha, and returning to that inner child of laughter, of giggliness, of play. And Joe refers to this place as energy kindergarten. Like, we're all the goal is to get back to energy kindergarten, is to be simple, to have that play and that laughter. And that feels so good to me. So that's number 3, more giggles, more silliness, and more play. Number 4, real leadership is taking off the mask. So when we can drop the act and reveal our real selves, we invite others to do the same. And that's the real gift that we have, and the ability to share. And this was something that we all were doing in one way or the other, by being able to be seen, to be heard, to share our voice, to share our gifts and our presence, and to share our true selves, and to take the mask down. And it was very cool to see over the course of several days, of 4 days with the group, of how day by day, it just like everybody's masks and walls dropped a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, to this point of like pure connection and pure acceptance and pure understanding and unconditional love for each other and for ourselves. And that's really sacred. That's really special. And real leadership is being able to take that mask off. And my dear friend Abigail played some music for us, and that was an example of her leading the way by taking her mask off. Everybody shared something. I shared some poetry. Like, we all brought things to the table to take the mask off, and that's real leadership. So that's something I want you to reflect on in your day to day, is how can you take your mask off one way. Number 5, unity is possible. Peace on earth is not a fantasy, it's a choice. I really believe that. And we have this opportunity to practice that. This is a way of being. We can be in harmony with ourselves, with each other, and with the planet. And I really believe that that is a reality that we can create with this type of leadership. And with you listening to this, every single moment, every single day, we have a choice. What frequency path do we want to choose? What vibration do we want to choose? Do we want to create love, light, morality, faith, justice, peace, authenticity? Do we want to create that? Because we have that choice. That is the path that I'm taking. That's the path that I know, if you're listening to this, you're taking as well. And it's just so cool over the course of 4 days to, again, see how we can really practice that collectively and how that reverberates out. It's totally possible. Number 6, love it all. If you want to love yourself, then that means loving the parts of yourself that you are reluctant to love. It means loving all parts of yourself. Unconditional love means loving everything. It also means loving the guilt, the shame, the fear, the wounds, the things that pop up. How can we turn and love those more? How can we turn and give that scared inner child a hug more? That's the question. That's the reflection. Because it's part of the messy beautifulness of being human. And every emotion is a pathway back to God if we allow it to be, if we can connect to the divine qualities within that emotion. So this is something I'm really practicing working on. And it's funny because I was reading a Mary Magdalene book, and in the book Mary Magdalene, from a channel text, Mary Magdalene was saying that, like, and I love this framing of, do you think that it was an accident, like a defect that you have those negative emotions, or that you have the capacity to feel that certain way? Like, do you think that was by accident or like a mistake? Like, no, it's here for a reason. That means that there is value in those emotions and in those experiences that we contract from. So much of that work is, how can we lean into that contraction instead of contracting, expand and take that quality back, that divine quality back to God. And so, for example, when how can we work and to feel into something that feels sticky or icky, and bring that back to, oh, that quality feels good, or this is what I have to learn from that. This is the curiosity that I have to be able to take it back, to take something away from it. So that's number 6, love it all. Number 7, your heart is a muscle, and the more love you give, the more capacity grows to be able to give love and also feel and receive love. And that was something that was an intention that Joe set in the beginning of our time together, which is exactly that of practice feeling love for the people around here. Like, that's a practice that we can feel. Like, practice sending love to someone in this group as we're sitting around the campfire. Practice sending love to someone else that's not here. So how can we practice feeling and sending love? The next time you run into, or you get coffee, or you get a meal, you share a meal with someone that you do love, like, how can you practice, like, really feeling that love that you have for them, and not just like knowing it or intellectualizing it, like, oh yeah, I love this person, but like, feel that love, connect to that love, and see how that expands, because our heart is a muscle and that does expand. Number 8, God is always speaking. Are you listening? That's my 8th takeaway. God is always speaking. Are you listening? It requires stillness. It requires quiet. It requires solitude to listen to those whispers that God is always whispering to you. And it was incredible to be up on the mountain and to be so tuned into that, to feel that voice of God, Spirit, the universe talking to me and through me, and being able to really lean into that and surrender into that, and to remind myself that, yeah, that voice is always there. God is always talking to me, talking to us. But it becomes more difficult in the busyness and the noise of our day-to-day to hear that whisper. And when we don't hear the whisper, it ends up becoming a shout, and then we have to listen to it. So where's God whispering to you? Where do you hear that voice that you can listen? And listen now while it is still a whisper. And how can you create that space and that stillness and that solitude for you to hear? Number 9, return to service. We can't stay on the mountaintop forever. As tempting as it is and as good as that feels, we're here for service. And I was having this great conversation with one of my friends up there, and she was saying, like, oh, so badly, like, I want to stay. And I also know that I decided to incarnate and to come to Earth School and to be here as a human for a reason. And that reason is to be of service. And so I need to go back and be of service. So my takeaway from this is, how can I bring this back, bring this energy, this love, this divine inspiration back into the day-to-day? Because that's the point. That's the point, is to share it and to be of service. And that's what we're here to do. As a leader, that is exactly what you are here to do. You are here to pave the path. And as all of you listening to this are leaders, you got to go grab that, like, as Joe said, get a taste of heaven and go back down and spread it. It's like, go get a taste of heaven, fill yourself up. And that's that rounds into my 10th takeaway, which is the importance of recharging, especially as a leader, especially for someone that's go, is like the importance of recharging, to recharge your energy. And it's a different energy than retreating. Like we often call these retreats. It's like retreat. Garth was saying, no more retreats. We're ascending. This is an ascension summit, which I love that verbiage of ascension summit. We're ascending together, and also we're recharging. So what are the things that you know will recharge you? For me, time in nature, sleeping on the ground outside in nature in a tent is so deeply recharging and nourishing to me. And like, and connecting with other like-minded people and just slowing things down and simplifying and getting back to human being, simply human being. That is so deeply recharging for me. And that's something that will charge me up for the rest of the year, truthfully. And there's recharging on the macro level, and then there's recharging on the micro level of how can I recharge on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis or quarterly basis? What are those micro recharge moments that I can do for myself? For example, a great recharge moment for me recently is just going for walks, like long walks, listening to podcasts or YouTube or music or just silence, of just getting in motion and walking. Like that has been deeply nourishing and recharging to me as well. So that's a 10th takeaway is to recharge and to learn what are the things that recharge you on the micro level, on the day-to-day or on the weekly, on the monthly. And then where perhaps is there an opportunity for a macro recharge, for going to do a camping trip, or to go spend some time alone in solitude, or to go onto a trip somewhere, or a retreat somewhere, or an ascension summit somewhere. So those are my takeaways I wanted to jump on here and share. As you can probably tell by listening to this, I'm still in this beautiful, blissful state. And my work is now in integrating these 10 takeaways and integration practices to bring this back and to share this with you and to have you share this with the world. So I love you lots. Have a beautiful day. And here's to the Ascension Summit. Let's go.